5 years ago today was a quintessential Minnesota Vikings moment, the Minneapolis Miracle. It was fantastic. And, the whole division round win over the crooked New Orleans Saints, and it felt really good. It felt cathartic, maybe a little bit too emotional, because then the Vikings just sort of sleptwalk through whatever happened in Philly the next week with a home Super Bowl on the line. Not that I'm still bitter. Whatever. But until the Vikings hoist that JEROME, it is the greatest single play, the greatest single moment in team history, and it was just a great moment. It was just a great moment. And so we've done a couple of these anniversary videos, talk about where we were, but first off, we just got to recap the game. All right, so the Vikings win 29-24, but it shouldn't have had to be like that. Like, if you go back and rewatch the game, the Vikings were dominant in the first half. The Vikings had a 17-0 lead. Could have even been more if Zimmer had been a little bit more aggressive, but it is what it is. And then the Saints came storming back, and the Vikings, right at the end, they pulled it off. But also the whole back and forth, Kamara getting in the end zone with 3 minutes left, the Vikings driving down, Kai Forbath hitting a 53-yarder, which was nails, absolute nails, man. And then the Saints, marching down and getting a field goal where they had him at 4th and 10, and then Willie Snead, It felt like it was one of those games. And then the Vikings come out, they had 25 seconds left, Buffalo right 7 heaven, and of course, we know what happens. Stephon Diggs makes a play, and then the Vikings end up walking off in very dramatic fashion. But it shouldn't have had to be like that, because I've said, so this is back when the show was audio only, and after the Saints kicked that field goal, 25 seconds left, it was just like, okay, put the game on mute. And at the old house, at the old studio, the TV was like right there, like right above the desk at sort of like a weird angle. So I was just like taking down notes, just like blowing a 17-point lead. Should Zimmer be fired? Even though the Vikings blah 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 were the 2 seed and blah 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 blah. And then I just glanced up because I had been glancing up at the various plays. Keenum bombed out on the first Buffalo right 7 heaven, so I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I glanced up and I see Diggs make the catch. My first reaction is, huh? And then I'm like, get out of bounds. And then I'm like, oh wait, there's no one gonna tackle him. So my reaction was basically like everyone else's, where it's just get in field goal range. Something miraculous can happen. But Johnson screwed up the coverage. Feel bad for him, but his losses are gain. And also, if you've watched the sideline, if you watch the sideline video where there's a delay in the sound. Now, yes, it has to do with physics, and then the way that light travels way faster than sound. But to me, I really hope it's like Vikings fans were like, wait a minute, good things don't happen to us. What actually is this ish? What the hell is going on here? So I don't know, but obviously greatest moment Case Keenum's history, career, and the whole leading the skull chant. Also very classy. Morstead and a couple of Saints coming out, so they could run the final PAT, which I'm glad they did away with because it's so stupid. But my favorite reaction is still Everson for NFL Films, where he was mic'd up. Linval comes over, like bear hugs him, and Dre comes over too, and Everson's just like, what the F? It's just a great moment, man. It was just a great singular moment, and yeah, even though obviously things didn't work out with Zimmer, I always loved Happy Zim. All right, who doesn't love that grin? Come on, man. But obviously, things didn't work out that season, 2017, of what could have been, and Diggs eventually got his way out of town. Vikings ended up with Jefferson, so maybe things just worked out. And also, after this season, remember, Case Keenum became a free agent, signed a 2-year, I think $40 million deal with the Broncos, and because the Vikings had a decision in the offseason, do they roll with Teddy? Do they roll with Case Keenum? Do they roll with Bradford? Obviously wasn't going to happen. And then they took Door D and signed Kirk Cousins to a 3-year, $84 million fully guaranteed deal. And that's how recent this was. So, I don't know. Still, one of the greatest moments in sports, not just Vikings history, but in sports history. But where were you? Like, I know a lot of people were at the game. Flood the comments section. I want to know where you were, what your reaction was, just flipping out and doing all this stuff. and we'll go from there. But your thoughts are thoughts. Minneapolis Miracle happened 5 years ago today. Where were you? What was your reaction? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But to next time, Skull Production Value.